So it's been like what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
It's been 2 weeks. Less than two
Obviously, my
weeks.
sense of time is messed up here. And you're not okay. So you think you're okay right now? Like you haven't gone to the hospital
I
or
mean,
anything,
we
right?
got tested on Wednesday and we it came back negative.
Okay,
So,
that's good then, right?
so that's good. But
Okay.
I mean, we're not like Tim's not completely symptom free,
Hmm.
but I think like I guess low enough that the test can't pick it up.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and just so everybody knows, I did ask Tim and Joss if it's okay to interview them for this small group. I didn't just throw it upon them, and they said yes. They actually agreed. If you guys were actually not
Like
doing
an
well
hour
and you
ago.
were actually more on the dying side of things, then I'd probably do a I don't know, like tell you death is gain or something. I don't know, something like something crazy like that. But
No, it
okay,
wouldn't
here we
be
go.
okay
First question. First question is what are your biggest fears right now as you look eternity in the eyes?
What? That's a different question. You said what were your biggest
All right,
fears?
what are your biggest fears?
I think like just not knowing the lasting effects of it in terms of like respiratory, any damages or anything to the lungs or to the heart. Not knowing, but I guess that could be said about anything, right? But just knowing that COVID entails this kind of stuff, not knowing if down the line like there's going to be issues, and that's kind of scary. But I mean, what are you gonna do?
I was thinking about the question in like thinking back to like our bigger fears, like when things were, I guess, more scary. Like, of course, the biggest fear would be of death, but it never got to a point where like we were like actually afraid that because like Tim was more severe than I was, but I think at that time my biggest fear was that I would have to like take him to the ER. Just because like I didn't want to have to like kind of like go through that by myself. Like I think I just felt like yeah, scared that I would have to take him and then like or that like that he would be admitted and I would have to like deal with
Yeah, or
that.
like being like on ventilators and whatnot. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there was probably like only like 2 times where I felt like, oh yeah, I could go to the hospital right now.
Because there was like a Kaiser doctor I talked to and it felt like she was kind of like encouraging us to go to the ER. Like she was kind of like, oh yeah, like we save these spots in the ER for people like you. And I was like, oh, shoot, like
It was
here
ready
we
for you.
go.
She's like, yeah, I put your
Yeah,
name on the
she's
bed
like,
already. Well, I'm glad that you guys didn't really have to go, to the hospital, obviously. I'm glad you didn't have to face your fears with that. What was hardest for your marriage?
I don't know. Like,
I don't
is
think
it?
we had any like conflicts within our marriage. I think like it was personally harder for myself than like in like the relationship. I think because like I wasn't like getting mad at Tim or anything because like I was like trying to take care of him and like make sure he stayed alive. And so
Because I was just like knocked for the first couple of days. I was just like knocked out all the time. Yeah, so it's like she was taking care of me, but it was like just kind of like yeah, making sure like
it was like very
water.
like providing like physical needs. Yeah, not like I
Yeah,
was not like we were
yeah.
having much conversation. It was just me constantly asking like, "Are you okay? Like, do you need anything?"
Yeah.
But I think like if I were to share personally about like what was hard for myself, I think it was hardest when he was like asleep and like when things were like a little bit more scary. Like I would definitely get very anxious, kind of like getting in my head and then like feeling kind of lonely, like as if like something were to happen, like it's not even like my mom can come and like help me or like go with me to the hospital or like it's just like it was pretty like lonely, I think, thinking about
Well, we jokingly, I said like, oh yeah, if I die, you could have my money.
because we got life insurance.
So more.
It was like that. I mean, yeah, I think for Jocelyn, her being awake and not having symptoms, it's probably more stressful on her than it was on me. Me, I was just like, I just couldn't even stay awake. I was just like constantly like sleeping, waking up, like, and I just couldn't stay awake for the life of me. I just like kept knocking out. Like,
Okay, so you kind of said it, I guess, but did this strengthen your marriage in any way?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know in the sense of like, it wasn't like,
It didn't feel like a strain on our marriage.
yeah, it didn't feel like, oh my gosh, like we showed great resolve in like overcoming this or whatnot. Yeah.
I think like I appreciate that he's still here.
Yeah. I mean,
Do you feel
it didn't make it weaker.
a deeper appreciation for one another? Like she
Yeah.
nursed you back to health.
Yeah, Tim.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I definitely feel like this appreciation.
Thanks, Christy, for the prompting.
No, I mean, I definitely feel.
We had the one argument we did have during this was that he was talking to his friend about his other friend who got COVID, and his other friend is single, living by himself.
Oh my
and
god!
Then like Tim was like talking to, and like they had similar symptoms. Like they both had like a fever of like 102 for like
I'll
7
explain
days.
after Jocelyn says it. But
Okay, anyways, he was talking to his other friend about this guy, and Tim was kind of like, "Oh yeah, like it's probably rough, but I think he's okay. Like I think like he would be. I think he's fine like on his own." And then I'm just like, "What the heck? Why am I doing all this if you would be fine on your own?" Like,
okay, let me explain. The reason I said it is because my friends in the Bay Area and then my other friends living on his own, I didn't want him to worry about him because what am I going to say? Like, oh yeah, like he definitely needs someone. And then if he's like saying, oh, like, what should we do? We're like, we can't do anything. So I wanted to make him feel like, hey, yeah, it's okay. Like, what can you do? Like, if someone says, hey, does that person need help? And then it's like, are you going to go take care of him? Like, is anyone going to take care of him? Like, he has COVID. Like, what? So for me, I said that to try to make my friend feel better. But then Jocelyn was just kind of like, what the heck? Like, I'm taking care of you. And I didn't want to yell to Jocelyn, like, I'm trying to make him feel better. So that's one of the things is right now throughout COVID, we appreciate like everyone asking, but like my friends would always ask me the same questions. And I can't handle that because they ask questions and it's like, no one's a doctor. And even if they were a doctor, if they said, hey, they would always ask, how are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm tired. And then they would always ask, are you breathing okay? And I'm thinking, like, everyone knows, like, if you have COVID and you're not breathing okay, you should go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, people asking those questions, for me, I'm like, I appreciate it, but I don't want to make people worry that they can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And so same thing as my friends was asking about my other friend. And I don't know, I'm just trying to put people's minds at ease. I don't know.
Yeah.
So what should we ask people with COVID?
Honestly, I mean, I was just like...
Hypothetically,
yeah. Hypothetically, I think people asking like, hey, are you feeling okay? And that would be the extent of it.
I think as long as like it's okay to ask once in a while, but like I think like the people who ask us like every single day, I'm just like, it's the same. Like it's the same. Like, same as yesterday.
That's what you get for asking. Look, I'm really glad that you guys are okay. I'm glad that your marriage is rock solid. I think that you know, like all of us as couples have gone through various trials and things, but I would say you guys are really unique in the sense where, you know, it got pretty close to being something serious for both of you, I think. And this is kind of morbid, but like it's gonna happen, you know, sometime for all of us. And I'm not trying to make this into like, oh, let's learn from Tim and Joce, but I think it's something that like as couples we need to just be open to talking about and even like anticipating. Marriage doesn't last forever, for eternity. Like we're gonna die and we're gonna be with God in heaven and we will be reunited. But yeah, like there might be a period of time where when our spouse is not with us. And I think it's good that we're able to talk about these things with each other and then also as the church be able to support each other in this way where like yeah, like it's going to be difficult if, something were to happen to somebody's spouse and then the church needs to come in and help. I think that's what the Bible says when it says to take care of the orphans and the widows in that way. So we need to support each other and definitely supporting Tim and Joss with our prayers. That seems like the only thing we can do right now. But yeah, thanks for being open and honest with us. I think the other question I had was there any Bible verse or how did you guys like encourage each other spiritually during this time, if at all?
One verse that I was just like, yeah, reading during when I was kind of like jacked up, but it's Second Corinthians 12:9. It says, "But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that power of Christ may rest upon me." Yeah, and for me, it was definitely one of those things where it sounds silly, but anytime, I always think how like how can this shed light to non-Christians, right? Because non-Christians will see like, oh yeah, like you are quote unquote suffering or whatever. Like, where's God? How real is God in your life? And for me, I was just like, not trying to be a martyr, but at the same time, just thinking like, oh yeah, hey, if we show that us as a couple, like we have faith and like we're okay, like, not to downplay COVID, but just like our strength is not in our quote unquote own health, like, but that, we have faith in God, then he can be glorified in this situation. But I mean, yeah, because I mean, it was never a point where I was like be in the hospital and be like, it's like, oh hey, everyone, like praise God, during this situation. It never got to that dire of situations, but it's just kind of like, yeah, like we're okay, we're fine. And knowing that our treasure ultimately is in heaven. And that's why I don't know, like sounds morbid, but die, whatever. Like I know that doesn't sound nice to hear, but it's just like, yeah, if you die, you die. I don't know.
I appreciate the frankness, man. I mean, I think it's natural that you would think about these things right now, and that's why I ask you. I think you guys are in a unique spot. How about you, Joss? Anything?
Yeah, when I was like feeling, I guess, distressed, I was thinking of or like Psalm 23 came to mind. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I think like when I think of like the Lord, just like comforting me during like a hard time, I like the imagery of him being our shepherd. And then I was also like reading through like Philippians for um like do not be anxious about anything, but in everything with prayer. I think the way that we encourage each other spiritually, I think like for me, I was just trying to like pray as often as I could, and like praying for Tim, because I think that even if I pray for him like individually, like there's definitely power in like praying together, of course, as a couple and out loud.
Yeah.
Hopefully you were encouraged.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, it was such a weird situation because, yeah, Jocelyn would always pray for me. And, but it was just one of those situations where it's like, she would pray and then I would just be like knocked out, but I just like no energy. So it was just always kind of like, oh, thank you. And it's like, all right, like I'm gonna go to sleep, or like I can't like get up out of bed. Yeah.
But definitely like it was, I mean, very thankful for like our circles of community, like you guys and like our small groups and just like church family. I think like because there was a little bit of like, who do we tell when we got the news? Because we know like everyone like kind of wants to know, like everyone wants to know if their friend has COVID, but it's like we kind of like just told the people that like, like we wanted to pray for us, obviously.
But
and,
yeah, we
like,
don't want to make it like a TMZ situation because I mean, I know people want to know, but sometimes it'd be like, but now it's like, oh, I know someone with COVID now, and it's like this is not. I don't want it to be like that.
Yeah, but anyways, we're very thankful for like the community that the Lord has blessed us with.
Oh, thanks, guys. Those verses that come to your minds, I think, and yeah, like I agree with you. It's not like when you're sick, you're able to like have an in-depth Bible study and have, really like deep prayer conversations. I think you can only go off of what and what God brings to
Yeah.
mind, and what you can just get out there. And so thanks for sharing that with us, and thanks for being open with us too and letting us know how we can pray for you.